Okay, so we would like to discuss cross-country chargeability, which is kind of a complicated term. Raul, what is cross-country chargeability?
Well, in a layman's term, let's say, for example, we already know that for the employment-based, it's backlog for Indian nationals, to some extent Chinese nationals. So when these people want to, there are some techniques where if they're eligible for, they can fall into the rest of the world category, not belonging to India or not belonging to China. Even though they have a passport from India, they may sometimes be considered to be a different nationals, though.
Right. Okay. So what if I'm an Indian citizen, I have an Indian passport, but I was born in like the United Arab Emirates?
So if you're born in United Arab Emirates, though, we all know that they don't give citizenship there. So if your parents are Indians and you are an Indian, you have an Indian passport. Luckily, though, if you're born in United Arab Emirates or Saudi or any Kenya or any country, though, for the purpose of the green card, you will be considered under the rest of the world, which is United Arab Emirates quota you will come into. So you can claim that quota, even though all along you never had a passport with United Arab Emirates, even though you were an Indian citizen right now, and you were all the time Indian citizen, you can still go under the rest of the world, under the United Arab Emirates quota. Even if you're born in Saudi, if you're born in Qatar, if you're born in any of the other countries, you will be considered in that particular quota, even though you don't have a UAE citizenship.
Okay, so what about somebody who is born in India, Indian passport, but their spouse was born in the UAE?
They can still do it. Even though the spouse is not a US citizenship, even though the spouse is an Indian citizen, even though the spouse now holds an Indian passport, even though the main applicant was actually born in India, and the main applicant holds the Indian citizenship, they can claim the spouse's country of birth and file the 485 under the rest of the world. It's called cross-country chargeability, though. So the spouse's country of birth can be used to go into the rest of the world, which is a very good advantage. A lot of people ignore this aspect that even if the spouse is born in outside the India, you can still claim, even though she is not the main applicant, you can still claim her country of birth.
So the UAE-born spouse doesn't have to have the I-140 in their own name?
No.
Right.
No.
What if my child was born in the UAE, but I was born in India?
No. In this particular circumstances, if your child is born in UAE and your wife and you are born in India, you will not fall into the criteria of the rest of the world. You will be considered to be Indian national for the purpose of the green card.
Okay. Then what about a situation where both people in the couple are born in India? Is there a way for them to, either one of them, to change their citizenship to some other country and be able to be counted under rest of the world?
You mean to say like Malta or some of these Caribbean islands, or even Canadians also. Means if they're born in India and they got the citizenship of course they get the citizenship in India. If they move to Australia or if they move to Canada, though, and they get the citizenship, though, unfortunately they won't come under the cross-country chargeability. They will still come under the Indian quota because at the time of the birth, they were Indians, they were born in India, so unfortunately they're out.
Okay. So if you do qualify for cross-country chargeability, the spouse is born in UAE, for example, is it hard to file for that? Is it?
No, it's very easy to file. You just mentioned cross-country chargeability. Look, this lady is born in UAE, here is a birth certificate. But yeah, we will put a sticker mark there for the USCIS because they always look into, this guy is an Indian, his prior date is not current. They may reject it, but we put a note there, do not reject this case. Go to the supervisor before you reject the case. So when we point out to them, the officer knows there is something odd about this case. I shouldn't reject this case, I will take to the supervisor. The supervisor will then look into it, they know what a cross-country chargeability is. Yeah, it's a little bit hurdle, but not that tough to file it. No extra paperwork is required other than the birth certificate of the spouse, nothing is required.
Okay. Then if I'm the principal applicant and my country of birth is India, my spouse is born in the UAE, but they are abroad, and I want to apply for adjustment of status first, and then have my spouse apply later, can I do that? Could I apply first separately?
No. When you are claiming your wife's country of birth or your spouse's country of birth, both people need to file the 485 application at the same time. You can't have that person in India and file a 485 for yourself. No, that's not allowed. Both people need to file.
Okay. And what about the diversity lottery? We've heard a little bit about that. How does someone qualify? Is it based on citizenship or
yeah, you know that what a diversity visa is, that the less immigrants that are coming into the United States, especially India is not eligible for it, China is not eligible, Mexico and other countries. So for example, UAE, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, they're eligible for the diversity lottery. Approximately around 60,000 green cards are given every year. You just go online and apply, and if your name gets picked up, you get into it. Now, in this case, even if the main applicant is from India, and if the spouse is from any of these countries, though, they're still eligible for the visa lottery.
Okay. What about a situation if my child is born in the U.S.? Is there anything that can be done with cross-country chargeability based on that?
No, absolutely not. If the child is born in USA, you cannot go with cross-country chargeability. You still come under your native quota.
Okay, so it's only applicable to spouses and based on country of birth.
That is right.
Okay, great. Any
Thank you very much for tuning in.